Hey guys, welcome back to Mediocre Arts and Crafts. Today I'm going to show you how I layered up this card from this Mintay apple season paper pack and using the Happy Harvest sentiment from Maymay's Willy Full Wagon set. And it is sitting in this little corner because I used some of the cutouts on this card that were on the back of this page. So I'll take you through it. Thanks for watching. First, I'm going to go ahead and create my card base. So, oh, not that one. So I was thinking about using these apples, but it's got this on the back of it. Now, I don't do 12 by 12 scrapbooking, but I feel like I could do something, like cut this maybe in half and do something amazing with it. So I'm going to put that back in the pile. And I'm going to pull out this sheet, which is some flowers, and then it has a plaid pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down to the size of a card base. So that would be 11 by 4 1/4, right? Yeah, 11 by 4 1/4. Can you see? And get to 11 inches. Save this, just in case. Scored at 5 1/2. Pull that up. So now I have my card base, and I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and score my card base along one of these lines and fold it over. Let me think. I think maybe at this line here. And that way we can have some of the flowers showing from the front.
So I went ahead and put my paper at an angle, and here I'm just checking to make sure I get a straight line that kind of aligns with the plaid stripes. If you don't have a plaid pattern or something with straight lines, you don't even really have to worry about that this much. So here I fold it down, give it a burnish, and then realize that maybe I wanted the entire part of the card, the entire corner, to fold over. You see that there is some plaid showing underneath that little triangle of flowers from the front, but then I decide that I like it and I'm going to work with it. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this up with a piece of foam, and just to give it a little bit of dimension. And now I go ahead and just add a little piece of foam to the point of the triangle, just so the dimension is consistent across that section. Now I'm going to cut away the two cut aparts that I'm going to use. I'm going to start with this basket of apples and this little bird, and I am going to fussy cut around the majority of it. And here I have the front cover of the pack, and it has a bunch of cut aparts on the back, and so I identify the ones that I want. I'm going to use this rolling pin and this clipboard. Originally I thought I might use this flower and leaf, so I cut that whole little section out to make it easier to cut them away. So now that I have my pieces cut out, I fidget with them quite a bit. I did cut away most of the other couple minutes where I was just trying to place them and make them as perfect as possible, which is really not a thing. So now I kind of decide where they're going to be. And I realize that I want to fill in the corner with a sentiment. So I took that piece of 4¼ by 1" strip that we set aside earlier from when we were making the card base, and I cut that down to 2½ by 1. And I'm using the Happy Harvest sentiment stamp from Maymay Maymay's Wheelie Full Wagon stamp set. This one is really cute. It is super fall, and I've used it a bunch of times before. So there's my sentiment, and here I am kind of layering up my images. Now, I'm only adding foam to one side of this because there's already foam underneath that that little triangle of paper that we folded over before. So I am just going to try to even up the one side of this, and so the other side I'm going to put glue on. If you're recreating this at home, you just want to kind of take a look at what is going to be showing when you open up your card. So there are no rules here. I just didn't want the backside to show because it was a little distracting. So I put it down a little further and moved it over to the left a little more and adhered it. And then there's only one little piece here that shows when you open up the card. And so that didn't bother me. I'm just going to add a little piece of foam to this corner so it is at the same level as the rest of the image. And here's where I realized that when I glue down this clipboard, something that I'm not super excited about is going to show on the back. It's a little distracting. It's really a piece of two different images. So I took the little section that was left over from the sentiment strip and decided that I was just going to glue it to the back of the clipboard so that at least it is one pattern that matches with the rest of the card. And so here you'll see that I'm gluing it down, and I just go ahead and trim around it, and I am pretty satisfied with that. And here you'll notice I space off a little bit because I put glue on the entire back, and the point of that plaid piece was so that the plaid piece could show. So I wiped the glue off of the plaid part, or the part that is showing, and you'll see I've got glue fingers here and just trying to kind of position this clipboard where I like it. And now I bring in the rolling pin, And right after that, the sentiment strip. And kind of fuss with those for a minute. Most of the fussing I cut away here. So you'll see also that I took the sentiment strip and I cut it down a little more. So now it's like 2.5 by maybe 1/2 or 3/4 inches. And I do also pop one end of this up on foam and the other I just glue down. And there you have it. So since this card is a little busier than I usually create, I didn't add any bling to it, no glitter, no enamel dots, nothing like that. But I went ahead and I cut down one of the other cut-aparts, and it is one of the frames. And I put that in the corner just right up against the score line. And this is where you would be able to put your personalized note to the recipient of this card. If you want, you can have this show more from the back, but I just kind of decided to hide it just because this is a lot busier than I usually do. So it is right against that score line, so I decided to give it a good burnish so that it wouldn't be too bulky right there. And that's my card. Thank you all so much for watching another one of my videos. I appreciate all of you. I'm going to have all of my supplies linked below in case you want to check them out.